Picture this: a young Bedouin shepherd chasing a stray goat along the cliffs of the Dead Sea in 1947. He tosses a stone into a dark cave, hoping to scare the goat out. But instead of a bleat, he hears the shattering of pottery. Little did he know that sound would echo through history, leading to what many call the greatest archaeological discovery of the 20th century. What he found were the Dead Sea Scrolls. So, what exactly are these scrolls, and why did they send shockwaves through the worlds of history and religion? The Dead Sea Scrolls are a massive collection of ancient manuscripts, nearly 1,000 of them, found in a series of 11 caves near the ancient settlement of Qumran. These texts aren't just a few random parchments. They are a library, frozen in time for 2,000 years, preserved by the dry, salty air of the Judean desert. Before their discovery, the oldest known copies of the Hebrew Bible, what Christians call the Old Testament, dated to around the 10th century AD. Think about that for a second. The original texts were written over 1,000 years before that. It was like trying to understand Shakespeare by reading a copy transcribed by someone a millennium after he lived. There were always questions. How much had been changed? How accurate were our modern Bibles? The Dead Sea Scrolls blew those questions wide open. Among the scrolls were copies of almost every book of the Hebrew Bible, dating from the 3rd century BC to the 1st century AD. Suddenly, scholars had manuscripts a full 1,000 years older than anything they had before. It was a direct window into the biblical text as it existed during the time of Jesus and the Second Temple. And what did they find? The answer is astounding. When they compared the ancient scrolls of, say, the Book of Isaiah, with the medieval texts they had been using, they were virtually identical. Yes, there were minor spelling variations and a few scribal errors, but the core message, the stories, the prophecies, they had been passed down with incredible accuracy for over 1,000 years. This was a monumental confirmation for believers, showing the remarkable care and precision with which scribes had preserved these sacred texts through generations. But the scrolls weren't just biblical texts. In fact, most of them weren't. They also contained a vast collection of previously unknown writings. These included commentaries on biblical books, legal documents, calendars, and texts detailing the beliefs and practices of a mysterious Jewish community that lived at Qumran. This is where it gets really interesting. Scholars believe this community was likely a sect known as the Essenes. Their writings paint a picture of a deeply devout group that had separated itself from what it saw as the corrupt temple leadership in Jerusalem. They lived a communal, disciplined life in the desert, awaiting a final, apocalyptic battle between the sons of light and the sons of darkness. Their texts, like the Community Rule and the War Scroll, give us an unprecedented look into the diversity of Jewish thought during this incredibly pivotal period. Before the scrolls, our understanding of Judaism at this time was largely filtered through later rabbinic texts or the New Testament. The scrolls revealed it was far more complex and vibrant than anyone had imagined. There wasn't just one Judaism, there were many Judaisms, each with its own interpretation of the law and hopes for the future. This naturally leads to the big question: what do the Dead Sea Scrolls say about Jesus and early Christianity? Well, the scrolls don't mention Jesus or his followers by name. That was a bit of a disappointment for looking for a smoking gun. But what they do provide is invaluable context. The scrolls are filled with language, ideas, and concepts that were once thought to be unique to the New Testament. For example, the Qumran community referred to their leader as the teacher of righteousness. They practiced ceremonial meals of bread and wine. They emphasized themes of light versus darkness, righteousness, and the coming of a Messiah, or in their case, two Messiahs, one priestly and one royal. These parallels don't mean Jesus was an Essene, but they show that the ideas that shaped early Christianity were already circulating in the Jewish world. Jesus wasn't speaking in a vacuum. He was part of a dynamic and intense spiritual conversation. The scrolls help us understand the world he was born into, the language he used, and the expectations of the people he spoke to. The journey of the scrolls from the caves to the public has been a saga obstaculos itself. The initial discovery was followed by a rush of purchases and excavations. The scrolls, often fragmented into thousands of pieces, were like a giant, ancient jigsaw puzzle. A small, international team of scholars was given exclusive access, and for decades, Jejic work proceeded at a glacial pace. This led to frustration, academic rivalry, and even wild conspiracy theories that the Vatican was suppressing texts that would undermine Christianity. Finally, in the early 1990s, the floodgates opened. A university library in California released a full set of photographs of the scrolls, and the official team rushed to publish their work. Today, thanks to digital technology, Anyone with an internet connection can view high-resolution images of these ancient manuscripts. The Dead Sea Scrolls didn't rewrite the Bible, nor did they disprove religion, as some sensational headlines claimed. Instead, they did something far more profound. They enriched our understanding. They confirmed the ancient roots and faithful transmission of the biblical text, while simultaneously revealing the incredibly diverse and fervent spiritual world from which both modern Judaism and Christianity emerged. From a shepherd's stray goat to a digital library accessible to the world. The story of the Dead Sea Scrolls is a testament to how a single discovery can illuminate the past and deepen our understanding of the very foundations of Western civilization. They are a treasure, not just for one faith, but for all of humanity. Thanks for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this as fascinating as I do, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries. See you next time.